Hello and welcome to the Spargur Yarn Crafts channel. My name is WSpargur. I am your host. I am coming to you from Henderson, Nevada, where I live with my two dogs, Princess and Duchess, and my roommate, Peter, because Delilah and her family have moved back to Texas, living out their dreams. I miss them dearly, but Peter is really cool, co-worker, really awesome. We work together. He's a lot of fun. Anyway, it has been such a long time since I have consistently made videos on this channel, and I am so sorry. And before we get into the fiber-related stuff, I do want to update you on the things that I discussed last time in my video with my mom and things like that. So my mom did get her blood test. She does not have multiple myeloma. Thank you. We're very happy that she doesn't have that. She does have something called MGUS, which is monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance, I believe, or unknown significance. Anyway, MGUS for short. And it is basically something about there being an abnormal protein that is created in her bones, and it is getting into her blood. It is not life-threatening, however, it does have to be monitored every 3 to 6 months with blood tests because it can turn into multiple myeloma. It is not likely that it will. It's kind of like, you know that whole a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't a square thing? So not everyone who has MGUS gets multiple myeloma. Everyone who has or had multiple myeloma, it started as MGUS. So that's why they want to monitor it, but so far, not life-threatening, just a little bit abnormal. So she will be getting monitored plenty, and she's healthy, so we are very, very thankful for that. Just kind of in the middle diagnosis. During the same period of time, my grandmother had shoulder replacement surgery. She has come out of that. She is fine. She's a little weak, a little tired. She's 80 now, I think. But, you know, she's recovering. She's about to do physical therapy just to get her muscle strength back. But the surgery went well, and she's back and recovering and healthy. At the same time, I had a cousin who went into surgery for, I think, something called the PARS defect. It is a defect of the spine where there is a crack on one of the vertebrae, and so that crack, your spinal cord runs up the center of your spine, and when you move your back, there are places in the vertebra that keep your spine from compressing down on your spinal column and your spinal cords, all of the nerve endings and everything that run through there. She has a crack on one of the vertebrae that is threatening to break off, which would then put compression on her spinal column and could cause a lot of issues. So she did have surgery to repair that. She is also recovering. I believe that recovery is going to take a while. I know she's home, but I think she's still in a lot of pain. But she's a very stubborn person. She's a softball player. She's very strong. She's very much like her mother. She's very stubborn, and I'm gonna do this against what everyone says. But she is recovering and she's doing better. So I had all of that happening. My sister had gotten tested for COVID, tested positive, but didn't show any symptoms, so they went and did another test, and it was negative, and so they did another test, I think, and it was also negative, so they think the first one was a false positive. So there have just been a lot of health things going on with my family, and work has been stressful because we're down 2 people right now, and it is just, all of that has just kind of come in, crushed my mental health, and it has just been so difficult to bring myself to get in front of a camera and be my old cheery self that I like to be when I film these. My goodness, hey, cut it out. They're not even wrestling, they're just barking at each other. Or whatever that sound is that they're making. Anywho, let's get into the fiber-related stuff. I'm gonna do this like I did last time, and I'm just gonna grab whatever's near me because I have projects all over the place. In fact, I have projects I didn't even bring in here because I've got something in the washer that's gotta be dried. I've got things that need ends woven in. I have things that I can't show because they're gifts. I have projects everywhere. So I'm just gonna start with whatever's close. And I'm going to start with something you guys have seen and I'm very happy to be done with. So this is a finished object. This is my Namu sweater. I have finished it. I did short sleeves. And we've gone all the way to, you know, got all the bottom there. Look at all of this lovely, lovely cabling. I am so thrilled with this sweater. And just look at this. Look at the gorgeous back here. This is what I love about hand-dyed yarn right here. All of this. It's gorgeous. So this is the Namu sweater by Knit Boop. It is a free pattern on her website. And if I remember to link it, I'll link to her website. You can get there through Ravelry, but it's easy enough to just go to her website. And what I like about this sweater pattern is you can actually download it by specific size, so you don't have to have the whole pattern. Anyway. So this is done, again, short sleeves. I actually wore this to church today. And I love this. I think it took me 3 weeks, a total of 3 weeks to knit this. Of course, again, I didn't do long sleeves, so it probably would have taken me longer if I had done that. I did this on an 8mm needle. No, not 8mm. US 8 needle. I feel like I should have gone up to a 9, but that's fine. Or knit the next size up. But after I blocked it, it did go where it was supposed to. It was a little tight before that, but it has pretty much gone where it was supposed to. I'm thrilled with that. I don't really know if I have much else to say about this. I love it. It's my new favorite sweater, and because I did it short sleeve, I don't have to wear a shirt under it, and I can wear it during the fall months here in Vegas, so, you know, because it stays relatively warm here, if I have long sleeves, I'll constantly be rolling them up like I am here on this shirt. This is the Neighborhood Fiber Company, I think community shirt. They came out with this, I think, last year during a lot of the conversations we were having about racial inequality in the community. I like this because it's a t-shirt hoodie. It's very nice and lightweight, but I like this because, again, living in Vegas, I can have something that's lightweight but also kind of warm. And that's what I love about the Namu sweater with the short sleeves. It's perfect for that. Let me show you something else that's really simple that I'm working on. This is just a simple stockinette hat. Let me pull off some yarn here. Simple stockinette hat. This is in the Spargur Yarn Co. colorway Let's Get Spooky on the Squish base, which is the worsted superwash 100% merino. So this is my own hand-dyed yarn. I feel I don't knit on this very often because this is the one skein where I guess I didn't rinse it or I didn't set it very well, so this comes off on my hands within just a few stitches. So I knit a few rows and then I put it down because then my hands are covered in dye. So when I finish knitting this, it's going to get put back in a pot and heated with some citric acid to hopefully set the dye a little bit more. The rest of them don't have that issue. It's just this one skein, and I'm wondering if it's because of just I wasn't paying attention or something, but it's just this one skein. I'm actually kind of glad that I'm the one that ended up with it, because I would hate for somebody else to be dealing with this, because that's not the product that I like to put out. 108 stitches, US 8. I'm using these shorty tips. I don't know if I showed these. I think they're in my case back there. I bought the blue set of Chow-Goos, the shorties, the 2 and 3 inch tips that you can put on the blue cords to make like 8, 9, and 12 inch cables. So I'm knitting that, but with the red cable, because they fit on the small cords, the other ones. So this makes a true 16 inch circular knitting the hat. So 108 stitches around, 2x2 ribbing. Pretty simple. I'm just knitting it because I wanted to see the yarn in all its glory. And that's one of my favorite things to do with variegated yarns, is just knit stockinette and watch it create its own pattern. Not much else to say about that. This is my, only finished crochet project for the moment. It's a ribbed hat. This is Karen Cakes in the colorway Bumbleberry. And I did this really cool front post double crochet, half double, and the increases do this really cool bit here. I love that. And the brim is actually just 5 rows of single crochet. I want to put a pom-pom on this. I'm going to order some pom-poms, but this is also a hat that doesn't take very long to make, and I'm going to mass produce these and put them in my Etsy shop. I have reopened my Etsy shop for my knit, crochet, and hand-sewn items, as well as some of the hand-dyed, not all of the hand-dyed, just some of the stuff that's like semi-solids. Those are all on my Etsy shop. But I'm going to mass produce this because people seem to be buying hats a lot right now, and I want to have something to offer people. And a lot of people are doing the machine knit hats because they can do those quickly, and those are nice, but I feel like some people like the look of crochet also, so I wanted to do some of that. Not much to say about it. Karen Cakes is a number 4 worsted. I used a 5.5mm hook, and this takes maybe 2 hours to make one, so I make 1 or 2 a day. Okay, here's a project you guys have seen before, if you watch my channel regularly. This is a tangled mess. Where are we? Okay. I like this. It doesn't really have a right or wrong side. This is called the Eyes on You shawl, and I love this. I love the short rows. I love everything about the way this is knitting up. This is an asymmetrical shawl. It's garter stitch. I'm at 204 stitches right now, and the total project is 400 or 399 stitches. So I'm maybe about halfway through the width of this. I am using 2 of Spargur Yarn Co.'s colorways. I'm using Let's Get Spooky, which is the darker with the purple, and I'm using Smash-a-Lantern, which is what's making up these eyes. It is the orange and white here. And this is on the Mo Fuzz base. This is 56% superwash merino and 44% kid mohair. Very soft. It's a cloud. I love working with it. This is such a gorgeous yarn, gorgeous drape. I am very much in love with this shawl, and I cannot wait to continue working on it. It is on the sidelines right now, mainly because I have a few projects I have to get done for some people before Thanksgiving. I've got a baby Yoda I have to make for a coworker, and I have a placemat and napkin set I have to do for one of my knitting friends who doesn't sew, so I'm working on those right now, and I need to get them done before Thursday. After that, I can go back to some of these projects. I've put stitch markers every 20 stitches. It helps me keep my stitch count. And what else about this? I am knitting on US 6s, which is a 4mm on Chow Goose. I love my Chow Goose. I am on section 4. Well, I'm about to start eye number 4. And there are... eye number 4, there are 10 sections in this. So there's a lot to go. I'm going to be happy to get this done, but I don't hate this project. I don't hate this project. I actually really enjoy this project, and what I'm finding is that because it's garter and because of the construction of it, this would work for so many of the different yarns that I have in crates and things, like those random opal sock yarns and stuff. This project would be great for those. Just pair up 2 very different ones and have fun. I think this is probably a project I will mass produce. Not mass produce, but do more than once. I will probably do it more than once. It's in my Camping Pinup Boys bag. I love that. I do have more of that fabric. I haven't done much with it, but I do have more of it. There might be more projects with that fabric in the future. The last project I have to show you today is... this is the new pattern from Helen Shrimpton. It is called Octagonical, because the full blanket will be in the shape of an octagon. And so I'm using DK weight with a 4.5mm hook. I am on part 3, which started with these yellow shells here. Part 3, there are 6 parts out right now. I don't actually know how many parts there are. It's usually 8 or 9. So they're on most of the people who are doing it are on part 6. I'm still on part 3. I started a few weeks late because I wasn't sure I was going to do this, but then I was just kind of sitting down one day and I said, you know what, I got to do it. Like, I have to do this. I need to get started. I've had the yarn for a really long time. It's actually in that cubicle right there. I've had this yarn. I've had it for way too long. I knew I was going to use it for another Helen Shrimpton pattern, and I just decided to go ahead and get it started. I am changing the colors every time it says to change the colors, and I am trying to actually keep track. I'm not using the colors that she uses in the pattern, and hers is written for either 5 colors or 7 colors. I am choosing to do the 5 colors, and I picked 4 of the colors that would be, like, they would carry all the way through, and then the one other color, I would just pick whatever color was, like, the least used. So let's say it went blue, white, yellow, white, I would probably just insert green in the random 5th color, just to get a little bit of difference. So that's what I'm working on. So far, this is, I mean, it's pretty big. And I've got quite a ways to go. I don't know how I feel about this alternating green and yellow. After all of this white, the yellow is just, it's so glaring. And I don't know if I like it. But I'm not going to redo it. I don't like frogging things, especially because I'm weaving in my ends as I go. And I've gotten really good at weaving in my ends, and I don't know where they are. So I'm just going to stick with it. I'm sure it'll balance out as I continue throughout the pattern. Okay. That's really all I have in terms of projects. I know I went through that super quickly. Do I have anything else I could talk about? Oh, okay, so, I am... This is not going to be yarn related, so if you're not here for that, or if you're only here for the yarn stuff, I'm just going to kind of ramble on. But this is about a podcast that you can actually watch here on YouTube, but you can also listen to just the audio wherever podcasts stream, wherever you get your podcasts. It's called the Fall of Civilizations Podcast by Paul Cooper. It is a podcast about ancient civilizations, what led to their rise, and what ultimately led to their fall. And he does incredible amounts of research. And what I love about listening and watching it on YouTube is that he actually gets footage from these ruins. So you can kind of get an idea of this area that he's talking about in these things. So like when we go to the Mayans, you can see the ruins of the Mayan civilizations. I'm currently about to start part 2 of the Aztec episode, and, you know, we get some, even some of its news footage, because they found some of the Aztec ruins under Mexico City. You get to see some of that footage. He talked about the Sumerians, and we got to visit some of the Sumerian ruins that are slowly disappearing out in the desert because everything was just made with mud bricks. So when it rains or when the wind blows all of the sand around, it just slowly erodes it, so it's disappearing. What else? There was just some amazing, incredible episodes. Lots of things that I hadn't heard about, places I hadn't heard about, and peoples and cultures and things that I've weren't brought up in my history classes. And so I'm learning a lot about these things. Like, I was actually unaware that Rome had actually conquered England at one point. So that was really interesting to find out. But not only that, but that there are still Roman ruins in England. That there are still old Roman roads and buildings, and you can actually see these things, and that they haven't been torn down, like they're still there to observe. That was incredible. That episode was amazing. And that was the first episode. I really, really loved that. There's another channel that I watch, I think it's called Absolute History or something like that, but it's got episodes from this guy who walks different ancient roads in England, and one of them is a series about walking the ancient Roman roads in England. And that was really cool. There was also an episode about trying to find out who the real Robin Hood was and whether or not he was fact or fiction. That was a really interesting episode of Absolute History. I really liked that. And also the emergence of the railroads, because I love trains also. So the emergence of the railroads in England, that was a really cool episode. I liked that. So I'm finding a lot of really cool educational things to watch on YouTube, and if you're not on TikTok, I'm on TikTok, by the way. I actually think I've seen some of you, like I recognize some of the usernames, but I am on TikTok as WSpargurKnits, so if you're on TikTok, you can go and follow there. But one of the things I love about TikTok is that there are people who are educating, they're just like all TikToks are 1-minute videos. That's the max length you can have. But there's a lot of educational information on there. People teaching things in history that don't normally get taught in schools. There's mathematicians teaching you how to do math in really cool ways. There are people who are just teaching you about everyday things. Like today, I saw a video about somebody who teaches you how to read the wash label tag on your clothes. I had no idea how to read that. I also didn't know that I needed to read that. So thank you for that, TikTok. And there's just this kind of culture that has surrounded this thing of all of the things that you can learn on TikTok. And people call it TikTok University or TikTok U. Because there just is a lot of really cool information out there. There's Hank Green, if you know who that is. He's on TikTok, and he's doing a lot of really cool educational videos, answering a lot of questions, going over... I learned about the technology of a gas pump and how it knows when to shut off so it doesn't just spill out of your car. Things I didn't know, and things I didn't know were cool. So... and by cool, I just mean, like, interesting. So there's just so much really interesting information on TikTok that, yes, there's a lot of comedy and things as well, but when you find some... there's people who do the news. I love my 60 seconds of news because there's no time for your opinion. You're just like, here's what's happened. And I've been very good at making sure that the 2 or 3 people that I follow, I've done my research and made sure that they really are trying to they stay as unbiased as they can. And so I'm really enjoying the news that I get from them. And by enjoying, I mean I'm actually staying informed. And then, anyway, I love all of that. So that's another way I stay entertained. I'm reading a book called... A Song of Achilles. That's a wonderful, wonderful book. It's kind of a reimagined tale of Achilles and Patroclus and their relationship. If you weren't aware, Achilles is, I believe, Greek. I believe it's Greek. Could be Roman. I get those 2 things confused. But I think he's Greek. Achilles is the guy who, he's like invincible except for that one spot on his heel. The Achilles heel. Achilles had a same-sex lover named Patroclus. It's actually part of, I believe, I'm pretty sure this is Greek mythology. It's actually part of, it's like canon in Greek mythology, his male lover. And so this is kind of like a reimagining of their relationship from like, when they meet as like preteens up through the blossoming of their relationship. I'm only into about chapter 13, but it's really, really good. I'm really enjoying the read so far. In terms of nonfiction, I'm also reading How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age. It's kind of a leadership manual. The original book was written in the 30s, but I'm reading the one that's kind of been updated for like email and social media and stuff like that. So that's a really great read. I'm trying to improve my leadership and communication and try not to react so flippantly when someone annoys me at work. So that's been a really good read, really interesting to kind of learn about and try to implement in my everyday life and my professional life. So those are a couple of the things that I'm up on. I'm not really watching movies or anything. I don't sit in front of the TV very often, and when I do, it's because I'm working on a project, and I'm usually putting on one of the podcasts or something on YouTube, a documentary, something I can listen to and learn from. So I'm not watching a lot of TV, not watching a lot of movies. If I do put on a movie, it's something I've seen before, so that I don't really have to watch it. So yeah, I'm not not really a TV person anymore. I am back in the dyeing studio. I have been working on some new colorways. You can follow my Instagram if you want to see more of those. Other than that, I don't really have anything else. I'm so excited to be back, and I know I was probably talking a million miles an hour, but I'm feeling a lot better, I'm happier, I'm here, and I think that this transition from 2020 into 2021, how many times can I say 20? From this year to next year is going to be it's going to be rocky, but I think we're going to get through it. I believe in humanity, I believe in the goodness of people, and I think that we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure it out, and as I told a friend the other day, Mother Earth is hurting, but Mother Earth also has her own ways of healing. And so far, she always comes back. And we need to help her, but Mother Earth will heal. She's special that way. So, yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. I am actually burning up. I guess my heat is working now. So I will see you all again here very soon on the channel. There's going to be a full review of the Lolo Body Care product line, at least of the ones that I own, which is all but 3 of the products. So I'm going to be doing a review of that very soon, so stay tuned for that. And I will see you all again very soon here on the Spargur Yarn Crafts channel. Thanks. Bye.